save our planet.
Please help the world.
Please help save the world.
Copenhagen Accord on Climate Change announced. In the culmination of 2 years of negotiations, delegates gathered for the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Denmark did their utmost to act in the best interests of the public they serve. The resulting Copenhagen Accord provides an agreed point from which to move forward. Supreme Master Television's correspondent brings us highlights.
After global leaders arrived, they began a day of their own meetings to help advance toward unified action to curb global warming. By the evening of Friday, December the 18th, US President Barack Obama announced a broad outline with objectives formed in cooperation with leaders of China, Brazil, South Africa and India.
Going forward, we're going to have to build on the momentum that we've established here in Copenhagen to ensure that international action to significantly reduce emissions is sustained and sufficient over time.
The Copenhagen Accord urges countries to cooperate in creating goals as negotiators plan for a legally binding agreement at the next meeting in Mexico City, Mexico in December 2010.
行必果，无论本次会议达成什么成果，都将坚定不移地为实现甚至超过这个目标而努力。
Furthermore, decisions were made regarding financial assistance for developing countries to cope with climate change.
We're actually getting quite close to the 30 billion that a number of people have talked about, and it is good that the Secretary is now talking about 100 billion annually for 2020.
For a long time, we have been discussing the climate change issue, and more we see that the problem is even more severe than we could have ever imagined. If it is necessary for us to make more sacrifices, Brazil is willing to tap money to help other countries. We will do it.
In addition, developed countries will commit to at least 80% emission reductions by 2050, with shorter-term commitments to be determined later.
We've come a long way, but we have much further to go.
According to climate scientists, the fastest way to significant planetary cooling is the reduction of shorter-lived gases such as methane, and the quickest and least expensive way to do that is to eliminate animal products from our diets, replacing animal agriculture with organic vegan farming. Throughout the climate summit, this vital and effective veg solution was discussed by civil group delegates and the media. Forums were held with films about the devastating impact of livestock and meat on climate change. Members of the Supreme Master Qinghai International Association also strived to remain at the front lines of the campaign by displaying and distributing information at the main entrance of the Bella Center conference venue, providing delicious vegan sandwiches to appreciative busy participants and passers-by.
I think your voice here is very good, so keep up the good work.
Besides giving presentations at public-side events, our association members were interviewed by journalists, radio, television and print media groups from around the world. In addition, announcements about the harms of animal products, along with the benefits of a plant-based lifestyle, were printed in the COP15 Post newspaper, as well as broadcast on TV, featuring scientific findings and excerpts from interviews and conferences with Supreme Master Qinghai.
During the time of the First World War, Denmark even totally gave up eating meat because it was had an embargo, and during these 3 years the total death rate went down by 17%, and they were the only country where nobody died from hunger.
Oh. We drove the whole way from Austria, Vienna to Copenhagen to the climate summit in order to bring a very important topic, and this topic is the connection between climate change and the mass production of meat, the animal factory farming in the world.
Ending that kind of factory farming is key.
As you can see, it's the #1 cause of the global warming.
And we still need to get out of livestock, and everyone goes vegetarian or vegan.
Meat anyway is very happy to be bought.
So a more vegetarian-based diet is important, a quick and a very big step.
That many more people get vegetarians and vegans in the future, because it really will affect our planet in a good way. Be veg, go green, save the planet.
Be veg, go green and save the planet.
Be veg, go green, save the planet.
Be veg, go green, save the planet.
This is Supreme Master Television reporting from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Our respectful appreciation dedicated global negotiators and leaders for your efforts in arriving at the Copenhagen Accord, and World Co-citizens for your supporting endeavours. We are grateful to Supreme Master Ching Hai for her steadfast encouragement and guidance for humanity at this time. May the day come very soon that all governments make the wisest choice of adopting the most efficient, low-cost and rapid initiative to save our planet, the organic vegan diet.
During an interview on climate change for the July 12, 2009 edition of the Irish Sunday Independent, Supreme Master Ching Hai was asked to share her perspective about decision-makers' climate priorities for the Copenhagen Conference.
What advice would you give to the leaders making these very important decisions for the people of the world?
Well, if I may, I have only one humble advice. That it is important to tackle the root cause, which is animal meat production. If we take the vital step to stop the demand for animal consumption, then the rainforest destruction will stop. The lungs of the earth will be restored. The destructive agriculture runoff and pollution will stop. We will have clean air and clean water. There will be more food for the hungry. Above all, when we're free of all the massive burdens imposed by producing and consuming meat, and instead practice the compassionate vegan organic farming, then the energy patterns of the world will change to a more compatible waveform with the earth and her inhabitants and with heaven, to produce harmonious weather and benevolent life-supporting atmosphere. It's all about changing energy. Make good energy.
Save Our Planet. The United Kingdom's Environmental Agency reports that with large organisations' better management of air conditioning, lighting and heat, the government's carbon reduction commitment programme could see emissions reduced 50% more than originally anticipated.
Save Our Planet. Chinese scientists estimate that climate change has caused desertification to approximately 20% of the country's total surface area, placing at least 15% of species at risk of extinction, and costing the government more than $74 million in damages per year.
Save Our Planet. Extended drought and irrigation in California, USA have resulted in the loss of billions of gallons of water, with future prospects less and less sustainable for the state, especially as the nation's largest produce supplier.
Save Our Planet. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration finds that pesticides from agricultural runoff are being ingested by Pacific salmon and are limiting their size and growth, thus jeopardizing efforts to restore their populations.
Warning news. U.S. researchers determine alcohol consumption and smoking significantly increase the risk of death in head and neck cancer survivors, while a separate study finds that alcohol consumption increases the mortality risk for breast cancer survivors.